Hey guys, this is Ray with PhoneArena doing a video preview of the Samsung Galaxy Note, which is the smartphone with the absolutely biggest screen out there at 5.3 inches. And right off the bat, we would like to say that the Galaxy Note is indeed too big to be held and to be operated comfortably. You really need to have some very large hands in order to use this thing normally. I, for example, have some average sized hands. They're not small and not big, and I really do not find the Samsung Galaxy Note comfortable for doing usual everyday stuff like scheduling, appointments, browsing the web, calling. For that kind of stuff, you don't really need this big 5.3-inch screen. But the device does come with a few features that might make such a great display feel comfortable, but we'll get to them a bit later. So let's quickly take a look at the display. As we said, it is enormous at 5.3 inches. It is of the Super AMOLED type, which translates into very saturated colors, wide viewing angles, and great contrast levels. The resolution of the screen is 800 by 1280 pixels, which is HD resolution. However, the effective resolution of the display is a bit lower than that because it used the pentile matrix, but still this all translates into a pixel density of 285, which still allows us to have some pretty crisp and clear details on the display. So even smaller text is easily readable with the Samsung Galaxy Note. Below the screen we have a menu, home and back keys. On the left side there is the volume rocker. On the right side we have the power and lock key. On the top we only have the 3.5mm headset jack. And on the bottom we have the micro USB charging and data connection port, as well as this capacitive stylus placed right here. We gotta say that it stays firmly in its spot, so there is no wiggle whatsoever with the capacitive stylus. The stylus itself, we find it long enough and thick enough in order to be held and used comfortably. It is designed so that it can work with the capacitive touchscreen of the Galaxy Note. But we'll talk more about it a bit later. As a whole, the phone feels pretty solid in the hand. It is made of plastic, and as a matter of fact, the plastic used for the back cover of the device is very flimsy. Let me show it to you. You see that? It's incredibly flexible and thin, but when it is placed on the phone, it doesn't feel that way. It doesn't feel cheap. It feels just like a normal handset. The Samsung Galaxy Note runs Android 2.3.5 Gingerbread operating system, but on top of it, it has the usual TouchWiz user interface. The idea behind TouchWiz is that you still have your multiple home screen pages, up to 7, and you can of course place your app icons, shortcuts and widgets on top of each home screen page in order to customize your device and kind of make it yours. The good thing about TouchWiz is that it makes the device feel a bit more casual and a bit more open to the general customer. However, it's worth noting that Samsung has made a few tweaks to the TouchWiz interface on the Galaxy Note in order to make it more relevant to the 5.3-inch realities of the device. For example, you now have up to 5 icons on a single icon row. Additionally, there are some custom apps like Memo, Planner, which are made entirely for the Galaxy Note. The Memo app is probably the most important one, since this is the app that you're gonna use in order to take notes. First of all, we would like to note that the capacitive stylus has a button on it, and when you press that button and keep the stylus on top of the screen for a couple of seconds, this takes a screenshot of whatever is shown on the screen, and it's automatically sent to the note-taking application, and you can just start drawing on top of it, taking notes. This is very similar to what you have on the HTC Flyer tablet, for example. So let's open one of our notes in the Memo app, tap to make it editable, and so we can just start drawing stuff here. There are some pretty good options, like for example, you can choose the type of brush you want to use, you can tweak the thickness of your pen, and of course you can choose a color. The bad thing is that we don't really find the capacitive stylus very accurate. It's actually a bit inaccurate when writing. So, but of course we hope that this is just a flaw with our prototype unit, and really hope that Samsung will make it a bit better with the final retail device. Because after all, this is the core idea of the Samsung Galaxy Note. The S-Planner application comes to substitute your normal calendar app. The thing about S-Planner is that it looks a bit more professional, so to speak. You have some additional options right here, and this is how you create an appointment. Just tap on a specific date. You know, nothing out of the ordinary, it's just a facelifted calendar. And when it comes to S-Choice, this is just a renamed Samsung apps. Core applications like the contacts and the messaging have not been changed one bit from what we know from other TouchWiz enabled devices, but we would like to spend a few moments here talking about the typing experience on the Samsung Galaxy Note. First of all, we have to note that typing with the portrait QWERTY keyboard is not really comfortable. This is of course because of the specific dimensions of the device. Thankfully, the landscape QWERTY keyboard is plenty usable, with all the letters being big enough, allowing you to type relatively comfortably. As you can imagine, the web browsing experience on the Samsung Galaxy Note is very good. Even on our prototype unit you can see that scrolling is very smooth, flash objects are displaying properly, and you can do flawless pinch to zoom, although you do not get pen while doing pinch to zoom, and we certainly hope that someday Samsung will opt to add this feature to its Android browsers. But even with that, we're not of the opinion that the Galaxy Note provides a substantial advantage over some other capable handsets like the Galaxy S2, for example, with its 4.3-inch screen. As a whole, we think that the Samsung Galaxy Note is more of a niche device, and as a matter of fact, that niche seems to be pretty tight right now. We don't see too many users using this device to take notes on it, especially when you have in mind that even note-taking is not a very simple and straightforward experience with this phone. In terms of specs, of course the Galaxy Note is pretty well packed, but it doesn't offer anything more than what other contemporary products offer, like for example the Samsung Galaxy S2, which has very similar hardware and is much more compact and much easier to operate. So while we won't be jumping to conclusions just yet, since this is still a prototype unit, however, we don't really think that such an enormous device like the Galaxy Note will ever see mainstream adoption. This was Ray with PhoneArena. For more details, check us out at PhoneArena.com.